Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you guys can see here, we are in a different location for this little sit down video today, and I think the lighting should be a little better. We're just gonna get right into the video. If you guys read by the title, that's probably why you're here. So we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna jump into the top things I wish I knew before starting my fitness journey. But before I jump into the first one, I just want to emphasize that I'm gonna make another video kind of explaining my current situation because it's a very touchy subject for me, but it's something that I'm still dealing with now, and it all kind of stems back to me starting weight training. So that's a whole video in itself that I'm planning to film very soon, so stay subscribe so that you don't miss that one. Okay, but let's get into number one. I wrote food is fuel because this will kind of make more sense as well in my personal experience in that video I'm talking about. But regardless of whether you're trying to lose weight or build muscle or just like sustain, guys, it's so important to fuel your body properly. Okay, and along with that, to remember that all foods have importance to them. So there's no need to cut out a certain macro. Like, I know a lot of the time we're fed so much info that we're like, okay, wait, am I supposed to be having a lot of carbs? Am I supposed to cut back on carbs? No, I think every single one is needed. Going with that, like, you can't out train a bad diet. It's so true. And until I locked in my nutrition, I finally saw the results that I was looking for. You have to fuel your body, but you also have to fuel it properly. So that's something that I wish I knew from the start, because I was putting in the work, guys. I've always loved working out. I loved sweating it out. I loved the gym. I never was the type of person that dreaded working out. So that's another thing too. But where I was going wrong was I was honestly not eating what I was supposed to be eating. I always like to use a little example that I heard somewhere else. I forget where from, but I tell my clients now that it is like fueling your gas tank with water. You're not going to go anywhere until you put proper fuel into it. So you can be doing all of these crazy workouts. You could be going hard at the gym, but you're not going to see what you want to see until you start prioritizing whole foods, protein, enough carbs, and enough fats, because like I mentioned, all foods fit. It's a matter of portions. Okay, so deep diving into what proper nutrition is, I think, is like key to progress and results. Number two that I wrote down is form over weight. This one, guys, is super important because I know we all love ego lifting and we want to progress in the gym in terms of weight because it feels cool to like add more and more each week. But there's other ways to progress, and I think especially in the beginning, that is not something you should be like chasing. Perfect your form first and then add weight. Take it from me, I wanted to squat and bench so heavy. I was like ready to be like a muscle mommy, and I didn't realize how bad my bench form was, for example. And I got to a point where I was benching like 30-pound plates, and then realized that my form was so off and horrible. So then when I fixed my form, I realized that your girl could not do 30 pounds, okay? I had to cut it by like half and do 15 on each side, and even then I was struggling. Not gonna lie, it was kind of discouraging to kind of have to go down in weight, but I was like, dude, I'm not gonna keep doing it wrong. It's more embarrassing, if anything, to keep adding weight but doing it horribly than to, you know what, lighten it up and fix my form. But I wouldn't have to have gone through that if I had focused on form before that. Same with squats. I think practice depth is everything, and then you're going to be able to add more weight and go down super low, because it's one thing to squat really heavy, but then also if your depth isn't even like that good, it's not as impressive, I feel. Another thing that goes hand in hand with form over weight is controlling your reps. Okay, so instead of adding weight and progressing in that sense, try to progress through tempo, like slowing down your tempo, going really slow on your eccentrics and focusing on that. Isometric holds at the bottom of your lift, like those are ways that you're also going to see improvements. I have so many videos saved, and I'll try to pop them up right here if I find them, where I noticed I was going so freaking fast, and I look back at them now and I'm just like, I'm cringing because they're on my fitness account. If you follow my fitness account on Instagram, you'll see them there because they're still up. I didn't want to move them because I think it's cool to look back at, but I'm going way too fast. I had to take a little break because I had to go help my brother, but we're back. Okay, so I think I was on number 3. Cardio will not make you toned, and lifting will not make you bulky. If I could go back to my 17, 18-year-old self and slap her, I would, because for so long, I feel like it's not fair to me though, because back in my days, okay, I'm old, we didn't have all these like social media platforms that you could just pull up and see all these fitness influencers on telling you to lift weights. Like, I don't even think I knew about weight training, to be completely honest. So all I resorted to was cardio, and I loved it. And I'm not saying cardio is bad. I'm just saying that that's literally all I did. And my dream physique at the time, and I feel like still, was always to look toned, to look sculpted and look like I worked out. And I was always like, why don't I look like that? If I literally do running, I do Stairmaster, I was doing Sean T's Insanity, okay? I did that shit like 3 times. I still love Sean T. I follow him on Instagram, so he himself has like kind of stepped away from Beachbody, I think, recently. I don't know, but that's a whole nother video. I was just stuck doing cardio because I really didn't have any knowledge on what else to do. Even now that I think there's more talk about it, there's still a lot of girls that are very hesitant to start because they think that they're going to get a little too big or get a little too muscular, and they're scared to lose what they so-and-so call like their feminine physique. But guys, that's not going to happen. I freaking promise you. I always emphasize this to my clients. Unless you're purposely like really trying to get big and strong and bulk up, you're not going to. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication and consistency to get to that point. All you're gonna do by adding resistance training is add muscle to your body, which in return, if you're fueling properly, is just going to decrease body fat at the same time. I wish I could go back and start resistance training or strength training way sooner. Not to say that I would have stopped cardio, because especially me, I've always loved cardio. I've always been good at cardio. I feel like my endurance is really, really good. It's something that you don't want to stop doing, but you also want to add in strength training. I wish I did that because there's so many benefits, and I'm sure everyone has heard of them if there's a bunch of videos on it now. But when you have more muscle on your body, you can get away with so much more. And when I started strength training, I instantly saw the difference, guys, because I don't think a lot of people realize that if you only do cardio, you also over time shed muscle if you're not strength training as well. And so yes, you'll lose body weight, like you'll step on the scale and you might weigh less than you did week 1, but you go and check your body fat percentage and that's probably increased because you've shed muscle, so now you carry more fat than muscle. Whereas if you combined both, you'd be increasing your muscle and most likely decreasing your body fat, which at the end of the day, guys, that's what we don't want. We don't want body fat because that's what leads to like health complications later in our future. Sorry for ranting a little too much on this one. I feel like I was all over the place. Let's move on to number 4. So for number 4, I wrote down rest days do not mean you are lazy and you should listen to your body. Might sound kind of weird to some people, but I feel like to others, you could probably relate. I fell under the trap of like doing more when in reality, honestly, sometimes less is more. Your body, guys, needs rest and recovery and sleep. That's like literally your anabolic window. I feel like there's this misconception because of social media where it's like go hard every single workout or like you're not doing enough. And I fell under that trap, and I felt for so long like I would literally gym 6 times a week because I felt like I had to, and anytime I would miss one, it would literally drive me insane, and I would stress out over it, and I would get like horrible sleep some days, and I would still go to the gym. I really at the time was like trying to build muscle and stuff, and I was so upset because I wouldn't see any growth, and I feel like I was just plateaued. It wasn't until I literally cut back on everything that I finally saw what I wanted to see. You're putting your body under stress when you're working out. You're ripping your muscle fibers. You're putting your body through so much. So if you're not giving yourself rest, guys, there's no like window for it to like repair. Not only that, but you also increase your chance of literally getting hurt and then having to be out even longer. And you feel it. I feel like we as humans know when our body is fucking tired. If you feel like that, just give yourself that day. Like, don't feel guilty for not going. If you really feel like you need to do something to feel good, go for a little walk. Work on your mobility, but give yourself and let yourself have that rest, because it's only going to help you in the long run. I promise you. Number 5, I wrote, do not compare yourself to others. This one is big in my books because especially with social media and all these influencers now, it's easy to kind of like compare yourself, compare your life to them, your body to them, your routine, your food, your everything. But obviously everyone's journey is different, guys. I know you guys have all heard it, but it's so true, and you don't know what someone's going through behind closed doors. Take it again from me, someone who was literally getting compliments left and right when I looked the leanest I've ever been. The amount of messages I would get of girls telling me to post what I ate, to train them, to tell them what I did, when in reality I was in such a bad place and super unhealthy for myself. It was a place where my body didn't like to be. It was way too lean, and I was too scared to admit it to my friends and to like literally everyone that followed my fitness account. Plus genetics, your lifestyle, that all plays such a huge role in what works for one person and what works for another. It's not going to be the same. What I eat is not going to give you the same results as me, because your body is different, your metabolism is different. It all is super individualized, so don't compare and focus on yourself. Celebrate your small wins and trust your own journey. I think too, once you jump that big hurdle, you really get to a place where you realize that fitness and health is all about how it makes you feel. My camera just turned off because it's almost dying on me, so we gotta hurry up. But like I said, trust your own journey, and if you need to unfollow some girls or guys that make you feel a little bit, bad about yourself, or if you find yourself comparing them to you a lot, just unfollow them for now. Focus on you. And honestly, this kind of ties in with my last one, my 6th thing I wrote, which says a successful journey is a sustainable one, so don't overcomplicate it and find your balance. This is something you want to do for the rest of your life, which hopefully is many, many years, right? And there's gonna be times where your life is gonna get busy and you're not gonna be able to make it to the gym 4-6 times a week, and that is okay. It's learning how to adjust to your lifestyle, to the phases of life that you're going through, and staying consistent. Consistency is key. As long as you're consistent, everything will be okay. Same with your food. Like, there's no need to go on super strict diets. Like I mentioned, all foods fit. It's a matter of learning how to balance it all out, okay? I would follow some of the people that have honestly inspired me sooner. I wish I would have found them sooner, because I love following girls now that really display like their life outside of the gym and how they like let themselves enjoy certain foods on vacation, like nothing happened. So just like things like that are things you'll pick up throughout your journey. But I really wish I had, like I said, taught myself more about nutrition in the beginning so that I didn't restrict as much as I did, because it was honestly such a miserable time, guys. And if you can avoid that, it's gonna be the best thing ever. Think of it in the long term, okay? What's actually gonna work for you? And like, what are you actually gonna be able to sustain your whole life while still feeling like the best version of yourself? And just wrapping it all up, like, unless you're competing for something or like working up to a specific event. Like, there's no real need for overcomplicating anything in your fitness journey. Like, just do what makes you happy, move your body, focus on building muscle, eat whole foods that nourish you, prioritize your protein so that that work you're putting in your workouts is going to use. You should be good. Like, there's no need to overcomplicate anything. I think that's how you're going to be able to live your happiest and healthiest lifestyle. I really hope that you guys liked today's video. I hope that you learned something out of it. If you're just getting started, or if you're in it right now, it's never too late. Again, like I said, I just wish I knew some of these things before, but now I'm here to tell you guys. So leave a comment down below if you have any things you wish you knew before you started your own journey, or if you have any questions. I will be making my separate video about my own personal journey, so make sure you are subscribed, turn on your post notifications, and I will see you guys next week with another video.